Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk with Rags here in Season 3, Episode 97. And here we are joined by Russell Savage, part of 757 Card Shows. And Russell, appreciate your time for coming back on again.
Yeah, no, I sure appreciate it. If we do half as good as we did last time, then we're going to do awesome. So,
all right. Well, hey, that's good. And yes, let's start off here with great start to the new year here in 2024. That here you guys have a 2-day event here at the end of January.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for any better start for our 2024. It's our first 2-day show at the Virginia Beach Fieldhouse, which, we thought from the beginning just doing a show at the Fieldhouse was going to take miracles. And then here we are doing a 2-day show with at least 100 more tables than we did the first time at the Fieldhouse. So, and now we've got 12 autographed guests. We've got JSA coming in to authenticate autographs, and it's just, and even on the comic side, I mean, we're growing on the comic side. We've got some local comic artists. We've got a Marvel colorist coming in. So, I mean, just the whole collectibles side has just been a real growth for us, and it's showing. I mean, we're filling 250 plus tables. We're doing a 2-day show, and again, when we thought about doing the Fieldhouse show, people thought we were crazy to do something with more than 100 tables, and here it is, 250 tables.
Yeah, and do you guys still having something on Friday evening, the 26th, there with the collectors that usually happens the night before Saturday?
Yep, so Friday night from 6 to 9, we host a trade night. So, and that's, as simple as it sounds, where collectors and our vendors, they get together, and it's in the cafeteria area in the Fieldhouse, and we probably get about 100 people or so, and it's collectors and vendors amongst each other, trading cards, selling cards, buying cards, talking about cards. Eating the food that we provide them. So it's if you ask me, it's the best part of the weekend. It's the least stressful part of it. Because we get in there Friday afternoon and we slug and put all the tables together and get that whole layout together. We're not some evil corporation that pays somebody to do all the tables and chairs and everything for us. It's me and my partner, Phil, a few of our buddies, and maybe a vendor or two that'll help us out. And so we get that done. And then trade night comes around, and it's kind of relaxing. I get to actually sit down and talk with some people. And because I really don't have the time on Saturday nor this Sunday coming up, because, I mean, you've seen me. I'm a chicken with his head cut off, just going from one wouldn't call them fires, but it's just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it's for our attendees, for the vendors, for our autograph guests. I mean, it's just and then trying to find time to get some water so I don't dehydrate. And
yeah, and let's talk about these guests. I mean, Dwight Stevenson, Hampton High, went on to Alabama, and then had a great professional career there with the Dolphins.
I mean, Hall of Famer. He'll be the second Hall of Famer that we have at the show. Oddly enough, the first one that we had was Bob Dandridge, and he's back for this show too.
Right.
So I mean, that's two Pro Sport Hall of Famers that we're going to have at the same show, and they'll both be there Sunday. So it's Hall of Fame Sunday.
Nice. Right. Yes. And with Bob, I mean, he, from Norfolk State, and it seemed like that he really didn't get his respect there nationally with basketball until the Bucks winning the NBA championship, 50 years from when he was on the team.
Yeah. No, I mean, and then when he gets into the Hall of Fame, it's during COVID.
Right.
So, it's funny how that happened. And then I think we were the first ones to have him, at least locally, as an autograph guest after he made it into the Hall of Fame. Because again, he made it in during COVID, so wasn't a lot going on as far as public appearances and stuff. And no, it was great that he finally got in, long overdue. I mean, he had such a great career in the NBA between the Bucks and the Bullets, and it might have been 35 years too late, or should have been 30 years earlier, but it happened. So
right. And then for any Phillies fans that are out there, I mean, Mickey Morandini and Milt Thompson, which Milt also had a great career there with the Cardinals and other teams, but they were both.
Don't forget local boy Wayne Gomes, who
yes,
number 3 draft pick overall for the Phillies out of Old Dominion, from the peninsula. So I'm calling it the Philly trio. So
nice. Yeah.
And then it's the second time we've had Milt. I went to the same high school as Milt, not at the same time period, right. But I played with Milt's nephew in high school.
Okay.
That's how I got that connection. I had met Milt a couple times when I played there,
right.
When we were high school. But when I finally got the show together, he was definitely one of the first 2 or 3 people that I wanted to have at the show selfishly, and
right.
glad that we're able to bring him back. And then he lives in the same neighborhood as Mickey Morandini.
Okay. Yeah,
and then and then Tommy Green, he lived in the same neighborhood too, and they do a bunch of camps all together up there in New Jersey. But I think they said he's at like Braves fantasy camp. So we were trying to get those 3 together and Wayne, so it would have been the I guess
foursome.
Philly foursome, yeah.
Well, hey, there's for Tommy Green, there's always another time.
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll definitely bring him down. Yeah,
right. And now Mickey Morandini, Milt Thompson, Wayne Gomes has that been decided whether that's going to be Saturday or Sunday, or
so they'll all be Saturday.
They'll be Saturday.
We've got the days of when people are going to sign nailed down, but we haven't got everybody's exact times yet. We've still got some finalizing travel, and then making sure that everybody's kind of stacked. So it's kind of like playing Tetris a little bit, where you got all these things falling, and then you got to put them into the right places. So
and definitely a regular guest, and definitely a friend of the show, Sam Allen, will be there.
Yeah, and last show we named our, because the bigger shows where the autograph guests are, they call it Autograph Alley.
Right.
So we actually named it the Sam Allen Autograph Alley last show. So
okay.
So yeah, Sam's a personal friend, and just a great person, and he's been we call him the resident guest. So anytime I've got a show at the Fieldhouse, he has a very, very much open invitation. And
yes, and then let's see, through you, I was able to get Denny McClain on my podcast, and he's coming to the show, last 30+ game winner.
Yeah.
And I mean, just listening to him and say, yes, Mark, I threw 225 pitches in a game. And I'm like, that would never happen these days.
Oh, no. It's I couldn't imagine. I mean, I was a pitcher all through college, and I think in junior college I threw like 158 in one game. I couldn't move my arm for probably a week,
Yeah, and the other thing is he had an awesome regular season there in 1968, but there they're in the World Series. I mean, they go up against the Cardinals, and the first thing he said was, "We knew Bob Gibson couldn't pitch 4 times."
Right. That's the only saving grace.
Right. But he's also come before, hasn't he?
Not to our show, and in his recollection, he doesn't think he's ever done an event in the Tidewater areas. So yeah, I mean he's traveled. He's a different character. He drives himself to all these shows. He comes from Michigan,
right?
So and the times that I've talked to him on the phone so far, I mean he's. And now that after interviewing, he is a character.
Right. Yes. And, for any Tar Heel fans, I mean, Natron means.
Natron means business, man.
Right. Yes.
Or my favorite was Natron Bomb.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, and then also when he was first with the Chargers, I mean, I know they went up against the 49ers there in the Super Bowl, and Steve Young was just on a mission to get out of Joe Montana's shadow. Right. But, I mean, the Chargers were an awesome team then.
Yeah. No, that was it was a good team that year. He had a great year. What was it, 1,300 rushing yards that year? I mean, it was –
right, and then also, played for the Jaguars, went back to the Chargers, and then finished out with Carolina. But I think, isn't he back at Chapel Hill on Mac's staff?
Yeah, no, he's coaching now at Chapel Hill, so he's back home.
Yeah, and then for all the Ravens fans or Terrapins
University of Maryland, that's me right here. I grew up in Maryland, so this is a good one for me selfishly.
Jermaine Lewis.
My wife's happy too because she's a Ravens fan, so I finally got her a Ravens player.
Right. Yeah, and Super Bowl champion, and that should be great here to have him come down.
Two-time Pro Bowl, two-time or three-time Pro Bowler. I mean, just he had a really good career in Baltimore, and oddly enough, I'm in the Baltimore area as we speak for my real job,
right.
And he's still active with the Ravens, doing like community stuff. So I was listening to it on the radio where he's doing some community stuff this weekend for the game, leading up to it. So.
Yeah, I think they're the ones that kick off the divisional round.
They're the first game on Saturday.
Yeah, and then another guy that you got me in contact with, and I had him on earlier today, Shamarko Thomas. Ocean Lakes, then on to Syracuse, and had an NFL career, but definitely.
Kind of cut short a little bit by injuries, the injury bug a little bit.
Right, but got drafted by the Steelers. And actually, with talking to him today, he's one of the few players that got coached by the William & Mary alums there with getting drafted by the Steelers and then playing a season there for the Bills, he got coached by Tomlin and McDermott.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Right.
And Shamarko, that guy's the real deal. I mean, it's when I first this will be our second time having him also.
Okay.
And we had him at the Bingo Hall
right.
2 years ago now, I think, or a year and a half. And you talk to him on the phone and everything was appreciate this and yes, sir, this. And I mean, that is legitimately Shamarko. I mean, he is the real deal nice guy. And you think of these football players that are just, especially, safety like him, they're probably just knocking heads with people all the time. And he couldn't have been more of a gentleman and phenomenal with our guest. I mean, he took the time to talk to kids, very gracious with pictures and anything that anybody wanted to talk about. I mean, he was a great guest, and that's one of the things that we look for is, and when we bring back people,
Right.
is how are they with the guest?
Yeah.
I'd much rather have somebody take their time and create an experience than just sit there, sign an autograph, and push it back to you.
Right.
We've had guys like Howard Johnson, Jesse Barfield, who are just great people and great guests, and so they'll be on our return list. I mean, in May we're having Hojo come back for a third time.
Oh, nice.
So just because, I mean, he's everybody wants him back, and he's a great guest.
Right. Yes, and let's see. So, any chance of Mickey Tettleton coming back, or?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely on the return list.
Right.
So
Okay.
he was a good guest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he did come there in the.
Yeah, we had him
the
just
fall.
at the last Fieldhouse show in November. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, and then let's see, coming off of their AAA championship, well, I know that the Tide sometimes has a table, of merchandise, and
they'll be back.
okay.
And we should have Riptide and Triton there. So Riptide will come one day, Triton will come the next day, or vice versa. I haven't finalized that. And then we're also, fingers crossed, that they're going to be able to bring the trophies.
Oh, nice.
And people will be able to take pictures with the trophies at the show.
Okay.
So we're that close, and
right.
For them allowing us or for the team store to be able to bring it
right
to. But the great thing about when the Tides come to the Fieldhouse show is they bring things for sale that they're not allowed to sell in the team store.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know this, is that there's a lot of rules and regulations of what a team is and isn't allowed to sell in their team stores. And so a lot of that old, game use stuff, a lot of the older things, they can't sell through the team store. They either has to be like through auction and or at an event like ours that's off site. So they bring in all these cool different things, something from the 80s, something from the 90s.
Right.
They just got a warehouse full of stuff, and for years they haven't had really a great avenue to sell them, and they bring them here, and it's like a throwback to history.
Oh, nice. Well, and what a season they had last year. I mean, with with Harbor Park, I mean, opening up there in the early 90s, and they had some good teams, and that went to the playoffs. But I think the last time they won a AAA championship, it was back in Met Park there in the
was it 83, 84?
Yeah, right. Yeah, in 83, 84, I think some of those ended up being world champions.
Yeah, the 86ers. Yeah.
But it's so with the so the admission is free, but then with meeting the guest, that's where the athletes, that's where the charges are, right?
Correct. Yeah, and we do our best to make sure that they're, we start them at, like, we try and start some at 5, but 90% of ours are in that $10 to $20 range.
Right.
I think even with having 2 Hall of Famers there, I mean, we're at $20, $25, $30 for autographs, depending on the type of item you bring or buy. Right. So I mean, it's we're half the cost if those 2 guys were at Chantilly or a Philadelphia show.
Right.
We're lucky that they give us a little hometown discount, and then we pass our savings on to the consumers. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, and Dwight Stevenson, being from Hampton, and with just who got hired there officially today there by the Patriots. I mean, Peninsula alums there.
Yeah, it
Gerard
seems to be
Mayo
the place to be from now. Yeah.
And I think Wayne Gomes, isn't he from Phoebus?
Yeah, he's Phoebus. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but definitely now. So Saturday is from 9 to 4. Sunday is from 9 to 3.
Yes.
And then anything on the schedule for at the bingo hall there in February, or?
Yep. So we are at we're back at the Pembroke Bingo Hall on February 17th.
Okay.
And then it's March 9th, April 20th. It's way far out. No, I think it's April 20th. And then we're back at the Field House May 11th.
Oh, okay, not till May. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't
because usually we're two at the bingo hall, one at the
Field
but
House.
We weren't. One, it's a miracle that we were able to get two days at the Field House because they're just so busy.
Right.
And so we couldn't get in February except for, I think, Super Bowl weekend, but it's not the best time to have the 2-day shows on Super Bowl Sunday.
Right.
And then the only other choice was because I wanted the weekend between the Super Bowl and the championships.
Right.
So that would have been ideal, but we just couldn't fit the pieces together for us to be there the whole weekend.
Right.
So we had the last weekend in January, which so far so good is going to be a good, really great show for us, actually, with it being our first 2-day show. And it seems like forever since we've had a show because our last bingo hall show was December, the first weekend in December. So like December 2nd. Okay. So I mean, it's like 7-8 weeks. So it feels like we haven't had a show in forever.
Yeah. Well, I definitely saw the promo there on your there on the show's Facebook page, and there had pictures of of the ones that had already committed. That's why I didn't know about Wayne Gomes, but with him being a local favorite and you guys already having 2 Phillies, that's good to have another Philly.
Well, and we got 2 former Redskins coming in too. So we got 2 of the 3 Redskins and so our friends over at Woodbridge Collectibles, they're actually bringing in 2 of the 3 former MVPs for the Redskins. So only 3 Redskin players have won an MVP. So we got Larry Brown and Mark Mosley coming in and signing autographs.
Oh, nice.
So 2 of the 3. So there's a 3rd one. So maybe there's a chance that 3rd one could come in May.
Okay.
So maybe. Right. So stay tuned for that because obviously there's a theme that they're trying to create. So
okay. All right. Now, will those 2 be here on that Saturday, or
they'll be there Saturday? And I think Larry Brown's a 10 to 11, and then Mark Mosley should be 11 to 12.
Okay. All right. Yes. And all right, Russell. Hey, let's see. So I know with being a Ravens fan, I mean, they kick it off this weekend. Who do you like on who's left there in the playoffs?
Well, I'm going Raven 49er. So a repeat of the one. Yeah, rematch. Yeah. Not brother versus brother this time, but I'm going with the rematch on that. But one more guess. So we also have Ocean Lake's recent draft pick by the San Diego Padres, Blake Dickerson. So he was just drafted by the Padres this summer.
Right.
And this will be his first signing appearance ever. So
nice.
Yeah, so we're real excited to, we try and, the last couple years that we try and bring in some of the kids that have been drafted locally. So we've had, Hunter Gregory, Hunter Purdue, Johnny Wilson, Connor Jones, some local guys, and one out of Richmond, Danny Watson, who we had him in last year, and he went from like single A, and he should be starting in triple A this year. I think he led all minor league baseball in strikeouts per 9 innings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that'll be good for I know that with Ocean Lakes being a Group 6 high school, I know that they've played Western Branch there in the playoffs. So I know that Blake Dickerson was definitely a great ball player. It'll be interesting to see how he does there in the Padres organization.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on him.
Right. Yeah.
We probably won't be able to afford him in a few years, but we'll talk about when we had him.
Well, hey, that's why. I mean, or you know what, with him being a Virginia Beach native, and maybe he'll look out there for 757 card show.
Yeah, we gave him a start. Yeah.
I mean, hey, Heineke showed up.
Oh, yeah.
So, but no, fans, come on out there to 2-day show, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. there on Sunday. A great time, and they're at the Virginia Beach field house, and and have all the times for the guests been firmed up, or is there
we're almost there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, Russell, appreciate your time for
thank you, Mark.
coming on, and should be a great time here at the end of the month.
Yeah, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. Well, hey, so that's a wrap here for tonight's show here with Russell Savage coming on. So go on out there and support these local card shows.
Right.